All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody have heard that a transgender pretty much shot up a Catholic school in Minneapolis. And man, this right here is just sad, especially when, you injured, 14 children, pretty much took out 2 children. I mean, this right here is just sad. I mean, stuff like this just has to stop. It's all over the internet. Everybody is talking about it. And that wasn't the only thing. Not only that, this transgender guy, he, pretty much made a video, I think right before he went and did what he did, and just, shooting inside of a Catholic church. Like I said, not only, like I said, harming the kids and hitting some of them. And he, it came out that he even had written on his weapons that he had plans to take out President Trump as well. I mean, and I've said this numerous of times, stuff like this has to stop. Now I'm gonna bring y'all the news and stuff like that. Make sure y'all please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That way y'all can stay up to date with everything that's going on. Shout out to everybody who always watches their entire video. Stay to the end. Let me know that they did watch the entire video. I really, really appreciate it because it definitely helps get these videos out there. And like I said, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please stop what you're doing. Hit that like button for me. But I definitely want to dive straight into this and show y'all exactly what's going on. So you can see right here on the stream by N Woken, it said breaking: Minnesota Catholic school gunman is trans, because at first they didn't know. So they said that his name is Robin Westman, and it said to blank, pretty much take out President Trump on the magazine. And you can see this is the, the transgender right here. And he had this written on his weapons, pretty much take out Donald Trump. I mean, this is crazy. So by I mean, therefore I am, it pretty much said breaking: the suspect in the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting entered from the side of the church and began firing at children seated in the pews. So they pretty much gave an update that 2 of the children are confirmed deceased, 17 injured, 14 are children, 2 children in critical condition, and said that the shooter used a rifle and also a handgun and a shotgun. Oh, man. Stuff like this it just saddens you, man, that stuff like this happens. And it, like I said, get worse. And like I said, by Jeffrey Mead, he said, let's see how many outlets on the left would mention the fact that the school shooter in Minneapolis was transgender and had take out Donald Trump written on his weapons. And you can see it up close. Take out Donald Trump. Pretty much say take out Trump right in here. And like I said, it just get worse. And then right here by Right Angle News said breaking: the suspect in the Minneapolis, Minnesota shooting at a Catholic school and church has been identified as Robin Westman, who posted a manifesto on social media just 2 hours ago, including a video showing the words take out Donald Trump written on the gun. And then by Donald Trump Jr. right here, he says, so you're telling me it would be out of the news in a few seconds. Only way it disappeared faster is it if he's trans. So it goes on to say that by leftism, said the Minneapolis Catholic school shooter was Robin Westman. He was a biological male who identified as a transgender woman. Written on his guns and magazine was things like take out Donald Trump. 6 million was not enough, referring to the Holocaust. For the children, I'm the woker baby. Why so blank is. I'm trying to be careful with my words because certain words will trigger YouTube. So you're going to hear me like not say certain things that you see on the screen, because I don't want to get, the video flagged and stuff like that. Then it said that he uploaded an 11-minute video showing his guns, magazine, and manifesto and posted it on YouTube shortly before carrying out his act of terrorism. So like I said, this is the person right here who did this. And just look at all the weapons. And he got right here for the children. 6 million wasn't enough. I mean, just all this stuff, take out Donald. Just look at all this stuff he got written on these magazines and stuff like that, on all the guns and stuff. This is insane. And this is a letter he pretty much to his family and friend, pretty much saying, hey, this is what I'm finna go ahead and do. I'm sorry I'm finna do this. My God, man. So it's like I said. Then this one right here by Colin Rose said, just in Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is fuming that people are villainizing. I don't think people are villainizing the trans community. I don't think that's what that is. But they said that the Mayor Frey is fuming that people are villainizing the trans community after a trans suspect shot young Catholic children. Frey says people need to take action but should refrain from criticizing the community. So let's see exactly what he said right here. And I'll let y'all be the judge of this and let me know in the comment section. What do y'all think about, what Mayor Jacob Frey, saying?
Look, we need to be doing more than talking. It can't just be words. There needs to be action. And when we have seen school shooting after school shooting, when we have seen churches get shot up by horrible actors, I think the impetus has to be on all of us as leaders to do a whole lot more, to recognize that we've got more guns in this country than we have people. And it's on all of us to recognize the truth and the reality that we can't just say that this shouldn't happen again and then allow it to happen again and again beyond that. It's on all of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids. Kids died today. This needs to be about them. This needs to be wrapping our arms around these families with every bit of love that we can possibly show.
Now, I want to leave that right there for y'all. Y'all let me know in the comment section. What do y'all think? Do y'all agree with what, Mayor Frey just said? Let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, like I said, you can see right here, say a fifth grader at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis say he was saved by his friend who jumped on top of him during the shooting, but he pretty much saying that his friend had got hit. And by Colin Rose, they just saying Robin Westman, the suspect in the Minneapolis church shooting, was previously known as Robert Westman before changing his name. According to court documents, he started identified as trans when he was just 17 years old. 20% of Gen Z identify as LGBT. There has been a coordinated effort by people in power to confuse and destroy our youth, and this is what we end up with. And like I said, this is the picture of the person who did the shooting. And of course, this is paperwork of him, order granting his name change. I mean, and like I said, when you do these type of, you got to be very, very careful on, what you say and what you show and stuff like that. But man, and like I said, this is the video. He was just showing clips, which has now been taken down off YouTube. What this guy was doing right before he went and did what he did. And it'll say breaking the Minneapolis shooting suspect has been identified as Robert Westman. The alleged shooter released multiple videos on social media which showed that he clearly, didn't like Christians. They have since been taken down. Where's your God? Read one mag. Just an evil person, man. An evil person. So pretty much saying students at the Annunciation Catholic School were packed into pews in the church during a school mass when the shooter began spraying through the stained glass windows. Say a parent described the horrific details to the Minnesota Star Tribune. He just pepper sprayed through the stained glass windows into the building, 50 to 100 shots, the parent said. He took out 2 kids. This is terrible. This is evil. I don't know how you defend against this. Pray for these families. And it is, man. It is just freaking sad. And like I said by Brooke Tay, sources confirmed to Fox, the Minneapolis shooter has been identified as 23-year-old Robert Westman. According to court docs, at 17 years old, Robert Westman formerly had his legal name changed to Robin because docs state that the minor child identifies as female and wants her name to reflect the identification. The application for a name change of a minor was filed by the mother, and a court granted the request in 2020. Man, this is what we keep, going through, and pretty much this is the paperwork, like what I showed you earlier. Guess the judge, pretty much granting the name change from Robert to Robin, and of course his mom, Mary, put in, for this right here to happen. It's like, man, I just don't get it. Like I said before, it's just very sad because you don't want stuff like this to happen. And like I said, especially to kids, innocent kids that were sitting in pews, and this maniac just spraying, shooting 50 to 100 times inside of a church. It is just wrong. And I think they said that individual was taken out, I think by police. But I mean, you never want stuff like this to happen. You never want stuff like this to happen. Like I said, he even had plans to go take out President Trump after doing what he was doing. Did by, shooting at that church, that Catholic church. It is just very, very sad, man. Very, very sad. And by Fox News, they said Minneapolis police chief confirms the shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. Man.
During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside on the side of the building and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
Exactly. It's just freaking wrong. You can't, I mean, it's really nothing to say about it. It's just dead wrong to go in there and do something like that. And then, like I said, he already had everything marked on his weapons of what he planned to do. Of course, like I mentioned before, that YouTube video was taken down immediately. It was taken down immediately, and then, President Trump pretty much posted on True Social, and I'm pretty sure President Trump is going to speak on this later, but for right now, this is what he wrote. He said, "I have been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The FBI quickly responded, and they are on the scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved." And then by Nick Sorter, it said that breaking President Trump had just released a proclamation he signed honoring the children who lost their lives at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis today. Trump also ordered all American flags to half staff until sunset on August 31st, 2025. And pretty much you can see it right here, say the White House by President Trump of the United States of America, a proclamation as a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless acts of violence perpetrated on August 27, 2025 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, by the authority vested in me as President of the United States by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. I hereby order the flag of the United States shall be flown at half staff at the White House and upon all public buildings and grounds, at all military posts and naval stations, and on all naval vessels of the federal government in the District of Columbia and throughout the United States added territories and possessions until sunset of August 31st, 2025. I also direct that the flag shall be flown at half staff for the same length of time at all United States embassies, legations, consular office, and other facilities abroad, including all military facilities and naval vessels and stations. Then he going to say, in witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 27th day of August in the year of our Lord 2025, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 250th. Donald J. Trump. Last but not least, I had just seen this at the last minute by Terrence K. Williams, pretty much by Eric Adogg. He was responding to it, said, breaking, it has not been confirmed by the Minneapolis police chief that 9 children who were shot by the radical transgender attacker are expected to make a full recovery. That right there is great news. They said this is absolutely amazing news. The evil has failed to take them out. And of course, by Terrence K. Williams, he's a wet a blessing. And like I said before, I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out, man. But like I said, this right here is sad. It is just sad. And like I said, making pretty much a 10 to 15 minute video showing all your weapons on the bed with children, like pretty much what you're gonna do to children, what you're gonna plan to go do to President Trump, what you plan to go do with this person. Made a video on all of it, and then started to go straight to this Catholic church and just fire in there while kids was sitting in there in the pews. That is insane. That is it is just crazy. So like I said, our blessing stuff go out, to the children and stuff like that. And like I said, we lost 2, which is, like I said, is very, very sad. But like I said, as more information comes out, I will keep y'all up to date on this story. Like I said, thank you all for watching, especially ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.